Hey everyone, this is Alyssa from practiceowner.com. And today, one of our very successful clients, Rachel, is joining us to talk about how she went from $30,000 in annual revenue to $108,000 in annual revenue in just 2 months. Thank you so much for coming on, Rachel.
Absolutely.
So, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, your practice, and what you do?
Sure, absolutely. So I am an acupuncture physician. I am located in Bradenton, Florida. I've been here for a little over 6 years. I moved down to Florida to go back to school to be an acupuncturist. It's actually my third career. So I started out in a bunch of other fields that had nothing to do with medicine at all. And then decided I wanted to go into medicine. And after having success with acupuncture with my own health issues, and that was acupuncture is what worked for me, I decided to pursue acupuncture. And so I went back to school and decided to stay in Florida and open up my practice here. So I've been in practice for since June of 2019.
Cool. So, what was the problem you had prior to joining our program?
Getting patients. So obviously, starting my practice in June of 2019, I had started to kind of get some patients. And then March of 2020 hit and COVID started, and we had to close our office for 2 months. So we were not considered essential workers in Florida. So we had to close, and just only being in practice for 6 months. Once we reopened again in May of 2020, I was basically starting over again, and basically starting from the ground up, starting from zero. I had maybe 2 or 3 patients, and then I was, working to kind of rebuild my practice. I had tried some other marketing tools, some mixed print digital marketing, spent a lot of money on that with zero return on investment, which was very frustrating. And was kind of at the point of feeling like I was never going to be able to be successful and grow a practice. And was really just trying to get more people in the door and get more patients.
So, why did you join our program specifically over any other program?
So James reached out to me on Facebook, and it was September of 2020, I think. And he reached out to me about the point when I was really in the thick of spending over $5,000 on the mixed print digital marketing campaign and not getting any return on investment with it. I had gotten zero leads from it at all, and had reached back out to the marketing company that I was working with and had kind of said something to them about, it was like, we need to reevaluate this and figure out how we can fix this, because I've gotten zero leads. And it had been, I think, 3 or 4 months that the campaign had been going on for. And their response back to me was, well, you need to send more postcards out. AKA, they wanted me to spend more money. And I said to them, I don't even have enough money to continue paying you for what I need to be paying you right now. How do you expect me to double the amount of money I need to pay you each month? So I was really frustrated. And it was really about that point that James kind of sent me a message on Facebook, very random. And asked to set up a time to talk. And so we chatted, and we kind of talked through what I had just gone through with this other marketing company, and he apologized for them basically, and was like, oh yeah, sorry. He's like, print marketing really just doesn't work very well. And he told me a little bit about his experience with his practice, and how he had grown his practice, and what he does, and how he coaches you through being able to do everything yourself. And that really spoke to me, because I was like, well, at least if I'm spending money on marketing this is something that's teaching me how to do it. So if nothing else, I'm spending money on something that I'm going to learn how to do so that I can do it myself. I'm not just spending money for somebody else to do it for me. So I decided to give it a shot.
Nice. Was there anything in particular about our program that really helped you, and why was it so effective?
Yes. So, well, for the first year and a half, it was slow, but that was because it was my own fault. I didn't really do a whole lot with the program. Not James was fantastic. The coaching was amazing. It was awesome having somebody to be able to talk to and get on calls with and answer questions. And I kept getting myself into roadblocks. Like I would overthink everything, and I was overthinking it and then getting myself stuck over and over and over again. And we would talk and he would tell me that I'm just overthinking it and I just need to do it. And it would help. And then I would just continue to overthink it. So having him having the coaches to talk through was super helpful. But I struggled for a long time with the program. And then it was November of 2021, right? That you and I talked, I think it was November. And a lot had changed with the program. There was a whole new system that had come out. James had basically reworked his entire program. And so there was a new system in place. The templates were all there and already made for us, and it had gotten a lot simpler. And Alyssa, you and I had talked, and you basically were just like, you just need to launch your ad. And you're like, just do it. And I was like, okay. And I did. And 2 months, I grew my practice to $108,000. So that really has been a huge help for me. And that's been like the biggest benefit is the coaching and the accessibility of having people to ask questions to and have the support, both of the coaches and then other people in the program now with the accessibility of being able to touch base with other folks that are going through the program that might be having other challenges that I'm having, to bounce ideas off of. Things like that has been very helpful.
So like as a result of like implementing even just these basic things, right? What was some of the other outcomes, or what other outcomes have you gotten from just implementing?
So I started out my practice. I've always been my own business on the back end, but I was renting space from another practitioner in an office. That's what I've been doing for the past 3 years. As a result of my launching my ad and the huge success that I had in the 2 months, I have grown my practice. So I went from 12 patients a week to, was it 12? Yeah, 12 patients a week to 40 patients a week. And as a result of that, I then realized that I needed to figure out other changes to my practice because I shouldn't say I couldn't sustain that. I could have just been okay with staying at 40 patients a week in this practice, doing what I'm doing, status quo, kept going as is. Because of the coaches in this program, I realized that I didn't need to be okay with that. And that's actually something that a conversation my mentor and I had here, my local mentor here, he said to me, he's like, well, you could just be okay with seeing 40 patients a week. You don't need to grow. And I said, but now I've seen the light at the end of the tunnel of like, I can keep going. So why would I want to stop? I want to build an empire. And so as a result of that, I have decided to open up my own practice. So I have signed a lease for a new office space, and I am moving into my own office on June 1st. And I have hired 2 associates. I have 2 acupuncturists coming on with me to start seeing new patients, because I still have a ton of leads from my Facebook ad that I clicked launch on in November that I don't have time to see. So I am bringing 2 new acupuncturists on with me so that they can start seeing all those leads that I still have waiting to get scheduled. And I've hired a virtual assistant who has been my saving grace for the past 3 months, who has helped so much in following up with all my marketing leads and helping me on the back end of things, kind of keep things running. And yeah, I never thought that this would never thought that this would happen. And I think, I actually was driving home from the office the other night and kind of had to take a step back from like my own body, to for lack of better terms, and realize that I only graduated 3 years ago. Like, it seems like it's been forever, and it's only been 3 years. And to realize that in 3 years, I am now opening my own practice and hiring 2 acupuncturists and building my own empire is crazy. And hearing so many, as I was getting ready to graduate school, hearing so many people say that, over 50% of acupuncturists fail in the first 3 to 5 years because they just can't sustain a business. And now to say, okay, well, I didn't fail. I'm now opening a practice and hiring people because I'm too busy to be able to do it myself, is crazy.
So where do you think you'd be right now if you didn't take action and join the program?
Probably at maybe 20 patients a week here. Maybe, would I probably be getting more patients? Yes, because I am in some other local networking groups that have helped me build up some business, and definitely word of mouth does help. And so, my current patients recommending me and all that stuff has built up some of my business. So, I do think I would have grown. I definitely think I would be staying in the space that I am in, status quo, continuing to practice here, not looking to build my own practice and grow that. I think that push definitely came from James and the rest of the team, kind of helping. One of the things in this line has stood out to me, so I made the decision to move up in the program to the legacy program with James. And one of the things when we were having that conversation about whether the legacy program would be a good fit for me, one of the things that James said to me was, you don't have to have confidence in yourself, because I have confidence in you. And that has really stood out to me, because I think it's his confidence that I can do this that really pushed me to make that move.
So if there's anyone watching that is on the fence about like booking a call to speak with us about joining the program, what would you tell them?
Do it. As someone, and that sounds terrible, I know to say, but as someone who joined the program 2 years ago, basically, and did nothing for a year and a half, and then spent 2 hours watching training videos on how to launch a Facebook ad, and finally clicked launch because you told me to do it. And then to see the result, like, for it to see how quickly it could happen, and to see how quickly I have grown, to think back and like, had I done that in September of 2020, where would I be now? I don't have any regrets. Everything happens for a reason, but you've got to do it. Like, you've got to trust the team. You've got to trust the process. I know it's scary. it sounds, Facebook ads sound scary. It sounds hard. It's not. The process is so easy now. And it's pretty much already done for you. Like you literally just have to press a button. So, and there's just so many tools in place to help us succeed in the program that, there's really no reason not to. And it seems like a lot of money, but look at how much money I ended up making in 2 months. So it's worth it.
Well, you have done incredible, Rachel, and I cannot wait to see what you keep expanding upon and how your team keeps growing and how you grow throughout this entire process. So thank you so much for your time today. It was wonderful to chat with you and hear more about your stories. So thank you again.
Thank you.